Hello, 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 TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, as you can tell by the card underneath me, I was lucky enough to get Lady Deathstrike in one of my caches that I had saved up. So you've got her here, we're going to be talking about her. I've got 3 decks that I think she's going to have some potential in. Now, as you can see, Lady Deathstrike is a 5/3. On reveal, destroy each card with less power than this. So, what that means is to get the most out of her, we obviously need to make that number go up. So, here are my 3 decks. We're going to start with what I call Buff Lady. Now, I have been a huge fan of kind of just hand buff style decks. And with Nakia being changed, Forge really kind of coming into his own, Okoye being a really solid part of this list, I felt like Lady Deathstrike was going to be a perfect fit in it. So as you can see here, we've got a few different ways to kind of get that power up. We've got Okoye if she's still in the deck. We've got Nakia if she's in our hand. And then, of course, we have Forge as well. But what really takes her to the next level in this list, of course, is going to be Wong. And then if you can use Mystique to copy Wong as well, that Lady Deathstrike can be absolutely insane. Now, the way the rest of this list is built is to give us time to kind of pull these off, but I didn't want that to be the only way that we can win. So we included a couple other 3 drops that are going to be really strong in Brood, Silver Surfer, Ironheart, and then we talked about Magic extending the game for us, but even if we don't hit Lady Deathstrike, I still want this deck to be viable on its own. And after play testing it, I will say this one does feel the most competitive out of the 3 so far. Maybe the other ones haven't been optimized, maybe this one's not even optimized, but we definitely have some real potential with this list. Being able to pull off Forge onto Lady Deathstrike with it hitting Wong and all that, it can be absolutely nasty. Super fun card. Of course, it is destroying your own cards as well if they've got less power, so something to be on the lookout for. But ultimately, if she's the highest card there, it doesn't matter if you destroy everything else because, hey, you'll win that lane with just her. But this was the first list that I had for y'all. Basically a hand buff style Lady Deathstrike list. But let's get right on to the next one. And another list that immediately came to my mind, and that's going to be a Mr. Negative list. So, very similar, we need to get that power up. Now, if we hit Mr. Negative, if Mr. Negative hits her, then that feels pretty good. It is essentially the old Magic at a 5/3 stat line becoming a 3/5. 3/5 already is fairly solid, but we can definitely make that a little bit better because we've got Shuri in this list as well. So we could get Lady Deathstrike up to a 10 or a 6 if Mr. Negative doesn't end up hitting her. Now, again, I want lists that don't necessarily rely on her, but definitely make good use of her. And this is essentially a standard Mr. Negative list. Yes, we've got a couple other pieces in here. Boss, pretty much a staple in any negative list. Zabu to get Mr. Negative out. Magic again to give us more time. And then we've got Iron Man, Mystique as well. Ironheart. So we've got pretty much a standard Mr. Negative list. Now, I'd love to try this, Lady Deathstrike with maybe something a little bit heavier. Maybe adding in like a Zola could be really, really interesting, whether it's hitting Lady Deathstrike or hitting Iron Man. You've got some potential there. Other zero cost cards that, zero power cards that become zero cost cards are going to be potentials as well. So something even as simple as an Angela might not be a bad idea as an early game play. And then looking at the rest of these, I feel like I got most of them in there. But this one, playing it feels pretty good, but it definitely feels like it's lacking. It doesn't feel like you're using Mr. Negative to the fullest or Lady Deathstrike to the fullest either. So this one definitely needs some tweaking. It doesn't feel nearly as fleshed out as the hand buff version, but it is an exciting deck because we can kind of go a couple different ways with it. We can go with the Iron Man route. We can go with the Destroy route. We do have the option to go just a simple Wong into Mystique, and then we've got some on reveals in Ironheart and Wolfsbane that can absolutely go off and win us the game that way. So it's not reliant on Lady Deathstrike, but it doesn't feel like it's using her or Mr. Negative quite to the fullest potential yet. So I will be experimenting with this one, but this is the first list that I wanted to try in terms of a negative Lady Deathstrike list. And we're going to move quickly right on to the last one here. and it's going to be C3. Having 3 power, getting Cerebro out there. She does work if you get Cerebro and Mystique down, so she'd be up at 7, so anything under 7 is going to be destroyed. Now, we've got some standard cards in this list as well. Of course, we've got Bast. I've included Magic because we need that time in order to get Lady Deathstrike out. We've also got Iron Man and Mystique again. Just great cards in pretty much any list, but being able to double up 2 different locations feels insane. Of course, we talked about Cerebro. Also, Mystique copying Cerebro is a really, really nice option as well. And then in terms of other 3 power cards, I am a big fan of Valkyrie, so I've got her in this list. Maybe not the best card to have in this list. Maybe we're a little bit too heavy on 5 drops, but because I like Valkyrie, I tossed her in there. Sentinel, of course, to get a few 3 power cards out there. Jeff to move around. I've included Zero for a couple of reasons. 1, in case we want to stop Sentinel coming back to our hand. 2, playing Zero just on turn 6. Playing Lady Deathstrike first, then Zero is really nice if you've got both Cerebro and Mystique out there. That's 7 power coming down on 2 separate cards. So I wanted a 1-drop that is already going to have 3 power to have the option to play on turn 6 as essentially my last card. We do have lots of 5 drops, so a 5-drop plus 0 on 6 is a very, very solid play. We've got Cosmo as a little bit of counter play, also 3 power, so fits right in. Shang-Chi, again, a card there to destroy some of your opponent's high-powered cards, and is going to get buffed up by Cerebro and Mystique. Now, this list feels pretty good as well. I don't think it's fully fleshed out. I don't think it will be for a while. I know people are going to be experimenting with Lady Deathstrike, until we find something that really, really works for her, or maybe she's not going to make all that much of an impact overall. But she's a really, really fun card. Being able to destroy essentially a whole lane is kind of crazy, but also super exciting. So I'm definitely going to be looking to pull off some crazy combos with Lady Deathstrike, but I'd love to know what you guys think of her. Do you think she's going to make any impact in the meta at all? I've got 3 lists here. Which of the 3 do you think is the best or has the most potential? Put your thoughts and answers in the comments below. And if you've hung around till now, I really do appreciate you watching the video. This has been, my 3 lists of Lady Deathstrike that I'm going to start with in testing her out. But if you haven't subscribed or liked the video, now would be a good time to do so. And until the next one, have some fun.